And just keep in mind that, I've learned that repetition is the key. So when you repeat an idea, you create an awareness of that idea. I'll give you an example. How many of you, maybe you had a math class and you didn't understand one exercise, and then you went for some personal tutoring with your teacher, and then he started explaining to you over and over again, you didn't get it, until he explained it to you so many times that finally you just got it. You said, now I see, now I get it. So just keep in mind that repetition of an idea is what is going to create the awareness of it. So now listen carefully. Now I'm going to talk about the terror barrier. Terror barrier. And I prefer to do it here on the board so you all can understand well. So, but first of all, we need to understand this. The way our brain works. Suppose this is a perfect circle, right? And this is your conscious mind. And let these represent your subconscious mind. Now this is your body. Okay? So, I'm going to explain this before we can move on to terror barrier. The conscious mind. What is your conscious mind? It's your thinking mind, your educated mind. It's where your intellect comes from. So your conscious mind has the ability to choose, right? And to accept or reject an idea. So basically when you study something, any subject, all goes here, to your conscious mind. Okay? You process information first in your conscious mind before you pass it on to a subconscious level. So as I mentioned, in a conscious mind, we can reject or accept an idea. But why is it so common that people accept the idea they don't want, but they reject the idea they really want? So now the subconscious mind is your emotional mind. It has no ability to reject an idea, but it can only accept what you put in here. So it's coming this way. It must accept whatever you put on your subconscious mind. It comes to your subconscious, from your conscious to your subconscious mind. So the key is that the subconscious mind cannot determine whether an idea that is going on in the real world, it cannot differentiate between that idea and something that you imagine in your mind. That's why it's so important to visualize yourself. If you can visualize yourself doing something, you're not too far from actually doing it in real life. And this is why. So you got the talent inside to do it. Then why don't we just do it? Why don't we do it? And then I'm gonna move on to explain something. Let's think about when you were an infant. Right? This was not your mind when you were an infant. You want to know what your mind looked like when you were an infant? Yes. Just like this. This was your mind when you were an infant. So your conscious mind hadn't been developed yet. You only had your subconscious mind. And so, let me just get something here. So basically your brain, your subconscious brain, would accept anything that was passed on to it, anything that it was surrounded by. So, for example, ideas like you listen in the radio or in the TV or newspaper, everything was going inside here. And those ideas, you had no ability to reject them. They just came inside your subconscious mind and you started to work on that. That's why your family is so important when you were born. Like, you know, if you were born in a family that had some ideas that are holding you back, you better go and change those ideas, because those ideas are very embedded right now in your head because you grew up with that. So, and this is where self-image comes from. So the idea you have in yourself is actually an idea other people have impressed on you since you were born. From here, you learn the language you speak, even the food you like. and everything you do comes from here. So, self-image is just one part of a paradigm. Any of you know what a paradigm is?
Paradigm.
Can you explain it to me, anyone?
Paradigm, the way you see and think, you see and think about something. How the way you what do you call you? Not think, but how the way you it's like paradigm. You put something in your mind and you think about that for the future, something like that.
Exactly. Yeah. So paradigm is just like culture. It's a multitude of habits. So it's the way you think about anything, the way you think about yourself, the way you think about how much money you can earn, or the way you think about what you're able to achieve. That's a paradigm. So your paradigm comes from here. And from here on, you're gonna start to develop your conscious mind, and these are the ideas that you currently have today. So what we need to do is we need to work on that. But now, you grew up, and now your conscious faculties were developed, right? Your conscious mind. You still have ideas from the radio, from the people you're around, and from the TV too. But now you have the ability to reject those ideas. So if you see an idea coming your way, or if someone is talking about something, like when you were gonna come here to the US, you might have had friends that well-intentionally, they were giving you this advice about not coming here or all these things. Well, you rejected those ideas because you now have the ability to reject those ideas and accept the ideas you actually want. But the question is, why average people don't reject these ideas? They're programmed to believe everything they see on the news, they read in the newspaper, or they listen to on the radio. They just let that seep into their subconscious mind, and they just don't exercise the right to reject or accept any ideas. For example, we see many people that have what we call superior knowledge. But many of these people, they're getting inferior results. What does this mean? How many of you have seen people that have studied, they have been on top of the class, high school, college, they've gotten scholarships and everything, but in the moment of getting the results they want, they just do nothing. And they're confused because they don't know why. They did everything right. They're not getting the money they want. They're not getting the life they want. They don't live in life the way they want to live. But they did everything right. Did they? So I want to relate this to you. I know you're here. You have this superior knowledge, which is really important. This and the fact that you were on a scholarship here does not guarantee that you're gonna go back and have the results you want, right? But I see something in you, and is that by coming here, you have shown that you have an open mind, and you think on a higher awareness that average people do. So that's a good thing. But don't think that just because you were here and you're studying and you're on top of your class, you got this scholarship, you got straight A's. Don't think that's gonna make you successful. So what's gonna make you successful are, and I'm gonna write it because it's really important. So what's gonna make you successful? A paradigm, the way you think. So now I'm gonna proceed to talk about the terror barrier. Just keep this in mind. I'm just gonna move on over here because I don't want that to. I want you to keep that in mind while I talk about this. So let me just backtrack a little bit. So let this represent a terror barrier. Suppose it is straight. This is a terror barrier. And you're on this side, and on the other side lies freedom. This is what we all want to achieve. We want to achieve freedom. Now, this is you over here. And you have X thinking. X meaning a paradigm. Okay? So this is the way you were programmed to think about things since you were a little child. And therefore, you think thoughts that are in harmony with this X paradigm. And then, your body also is in an X vibration. And I'm just gonna touch this just a little bit. So, your body is nothing but a molecular instrument. So, it means that your body actually has vibration. If you take a microscope and you put your hand under the microscope, you're gonna find that you're actually moving at a very high speed of vibration, and in fact everything is moving. So whenever you say I feel well, I feel okay, or I feel sad, that's only a conscious awareness of the vibration you're in, because actually when you feel different, you are on a different state of vibration, and your vibration is determined by your thoughts. Actually, the thoughts here, they're going to determine the vibration your body is in, and this is going to determine your results that are going to be X type of results, because you're having X, and you can't have any other kind of results other than what you think and what you attract to yourself. So actually, when you're on a state of vibration, you're attracting to you everything that's on that same state. If you're thinking about poverty, you cannot attract rich things to your life. If you're thinking rich, you cannot attract poverty. That's a law. So this is you. Maybe the job you don't like, you're getting these results, and then something happens one day, and you get an idea from the outside. Actually, I want to use another color here. This is a Y idea. This is a Y idea of, let's say, another job that you want to have. You want to start your own business. This is a Y idea that you're just starting to entertain. But you're over here, your subconscious mind still has the X idea, and your body is still on an X vibration. What happens here is that intellectually, you've started to entertain this idea, only intellectually. That's not what it takes to actually carry out that idea, but intellectually, you've started to entertain this idea. So, what happens now is that with everything we do, we need to start getting emotionally involved with any idea we want. So, if we entertain this idea enough, this is what's going to happen. And pay attention to this. You have this Y idea here, this Y paradigm, and you want to start to impress it on your subconscious mind, your emotional mind. But then what's going to happen? Is it going to feel comfortable to do that? No, because this is actually the way it's supposed to be. You have X, X only attracts X. So this is what actually feels comfortable. So when you start to entertain this idea, you're going to feel uncomfortable, you're going to feel insecure, and you just don't know what to do, and this is what's going to happen. You start to have this idea here, both of them, the Y and the X idea, and here. But then, as you don't feel comfortable here, you're going to start to have fear in here. So, and then this is going to move on to the anxiety on your body. And when you try to carry out this idea, you're going to bounce off the wall. And you're going to come back here, where you started. And as I mentioned, you're actually going to feel comfortable when you're there. You're going to say, you're going to try to excuse yourself. You're going to say, well, if I go on and start my own business, things might fail. I have this job, I don't like it. As a matter of fact, I hate it, but at least it's something. I don't want to risk this, because at least, you know, I'm comfortable here. Or you want to say, I want to move to a different city, I want to do something different, but man, I have all my friends here, and I just have, I mean, I'm not living the way I want to live, but I feel comfortable here because I've lived all my life this way. Then, this is what most people do. They bounce off the wall. If they even get here, they're going to bounce off the wall. That's also going to happen to you. But the difference is that you're going to come back here. And you're going to try again. You're going to try again. And remember I told you repetition is the key? So, what you want to do is, you want to keep feeding those ideas. Getting involved emotionally on what you want. You're going to hit the wall. Maybe not only once. Maybe you're going to hit it twice or more times. But then, remember that paradigm is actually a prison. This is a prison. And paradigm is a prison. The only difference is that it's got no locks on the door. So people can go out anytime they want. They don't escape from that prison, because how can you escape from a prison when you don't even know you're in a prison, right? So you can, the doors are open, you can go out anytime you want, but you need to do it consciously. So I want to mention that everything is going crazy here, but you want to start trying, and if you feed your mind with the right ideas consciously, you're gonna find out that eventually you're gonna crash in this wall, and you're gonna be here, and you're gonna. This doesn't mean that you're gonna have freedom right away, but you're one step closer, and you've taken that. You've made the move that's gonna give you freedom. So this is what's gonna happen next, and really pay attention here. The X energy hasn't gone away yet. It's still there, because as I mentioned, it's really embedded in you. It's really deep in you. It's still there, but you're now closer. And eventually you're gonna find out that this is gonna disappear. It might take you a while, but if you do it on a daily basis, you start filling your mind with the ideas you really want, that's gonna disappear. So I want you to keep this in mind whenever you're setting a goal for you. Remember, we've worked on becoming goal setters. We have some things we want to achieve. If these things we want to achieve doesn't make us feel scared and excited at the same time, just know that those goals you're setting are not worth it. Because actually, when you're setting goals, you want those goals to scare you. Because that's what's going to happen. You're not going to be comfortable. Because you're moving from here, you're moving beyond, you're moving where you want to be. So you're not going to feel comfortable. It should scare you, and it should excite you at the same time. And you want to keep hanging in there and working on it. So, now you're here, the X paradigm has disappeared, and you want to know where you're living now? You're living on freedom. You're living on freedom. You're living where you want to be. Now, if you never go through this terror barrier, you want to know where you are living, where you're going to live? In the same place for the rest of your days. So, this is not really a good place to be. If you don't dare to get past this terror barrier, you're going to stay here forever. Just think about it. Think about the idea that everything you are today is everything you're ever going to be. Isn't that a scary idea? So even though it might feel comfortable, you want to do this if you want to really achieve greater things. Because remember what Joseph Campbell said. The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. Thank you.